Well, this is where my adventure really begins, because this is where it starts getting very, very remote. I've turned off from Sesfontein, I filled up with my fuel, I'm full of water. I'm now heading along the valley of the Honeb River, and I've been told that this is where the desert elephants live. I've never seen them before, and I'm determined to find them. You find me in central Namibia on the first part of my expedition to find the source of the Okavango River in Angola. I'm on my way north, having travelled via the grey-green Atlantic and now through the yellow-baked Namib. This part of my trip I'm doing alone, without even a camera crew. In a few days' time I will meet up with a group who will take me into Angola. Meantime, here in the bed of the Honeb River, I'm going in search of desert elephant. Well, I've got a track to follow on the GPS, where I've been told there are some desert elephants. I'm driving through silt, and the dust is choking, billowing behind the Land Cruiser. I've been told that there is a waterhole to reach before I'm likely to see any elephant. But they were wrong. Within an hour or so, I see my first desert elephant. But the joy is short-lived. Well, the experience has been marred a bit for me because of that. I mean, there's an elephant right there. Probably others that I haven't seen. But a convoy of 10 vehicles and some four-wheel drive, self-drive excursion. And I thought I would be on my own, but still I've seen the elephants. That's nice. It makes me think, you know, there are so very, very few really remote places left. And it's largely because of the advent of the four-wheel drive, I'm afraid, and good maps, and GPS, and of course people want to do what I do. That's why they come here. I'm not alone in more ways than one. Still, I saw my elephant. Now the question is, do I stick around? Do I stay here? I don't feel like, I was going to sort of like camp close to the elephants, and I don't know, but there's now this big group here. It looks like 10 vehicles. Don't know what I should do. The Honeb River Valley is categorized by these magnificent anna trees. They're all cropped to a similar height. The height of how far an elephant can reach and how far a giraffe can reach. They all have another thing in common, and that is evidence of floods. But this one is the most impressive I've seen. Imagine how this river must have once been flowing. In this river valley there is a man-made waterhole. Without it being here, it's doubtful that in most years the elephants would stick around. It also sustains a lot of other game, including lion, which have been seen in the area since the water pump was installed. As a result, of course, it attracts people too. Thinking about staying the night here, actually. I've decided not to stick around either. I'm determined to be on my own tonight. The thrill of total isolation is one of the reasons why I do part of these expeditions all on my own. My path is blocked by a young bull elephant. Just got to sit and wait for him to finish his breakfast. It's a standoff. 2.5 ton Toyota Land Cruiser versus a 4.5 ton elephant. Place your bets. I'd like to get past, please. Hello? Now, he obviously doesn't speak English, and I don't speak Himba, so it's not going to be any use shouting at him. Come on. You can let me go now. I want to go. Time to make a dash for it. Thank you very much. This is the Soulgrab River Valley. The track leading through it is slow and rough, but just what I've been looking for. Solitude. This is what it's all about. I am utterly alone. I think the closest person would be from me here, realistically speaking, 40 kilometers away. But that's a 2-hour drive. Average speed on these tracks about 20 kilometers an hour. And I think this is a much, much nicer campsite than in the river. Well, in the Honab River anyway. We are in a river valley. There are animals around, a lot of hemsbok, a lot of ostrich. There are line in the area, but where I'm standing now is very, very far from permanent water, so it's unlikely. I'm certainly not going to worry about it. During the next few days, I'm going to show you how I actually managed to film everything on my own without a camera crew. So I take out my laptop every evening. I plug in 2 disk drives. The footage, soon after an expedition has begun, becomes more valuable than the price of the cameras and things like that, because the cost of going back and getting that footage again is of course very expensive. Now I keep things simple. I use these little USB powered drives. I do have a larger drive which I can power from the car, but I try and keep things simple and always double up. So if I'm now going to go and take the footage shot today with that camera and the other large camera which is over there, which is filming the sunset on its own, take the data from the 2 cameras and put them onto 2 separate disk drives, and then store the 2 disk drives in 2 different places in the car. So if anything happens, I've always got a backup. So to shoot remote shots like this, I always have to return to the camera and switch it off. Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. After a very pleasant evening and sound sleep, I wake to find crows inbound, looking for any scraps that I might leave behind when I leave. How do they know that I'm not going to stick around? My expedition began in contemplation atop a hill in the southern part of the country. There I reflected on being a lone traveller in such a remote place. It's a kind of discomforting comfort. It's the thrill of flying alone while fighting against that inborn need we all have to huddle. It's a unique experience. If you think about it, every moment of your day, you're thinking about other people. In a work environment, you're thinking about how you're interacting with them, how your work is coinciding with theirs, business meetings, and it's always thinking about other people at the same time as your own tasks. Family, exactly the same, worrying about their welfare, thinking about their comforts, their needs. When you're on your own, that's gone, there's nothing there. That's unusual. I suppose it makes a nice change, but with it comes a level of loneliness, particularly at night. You know, if you go out into an open area and you camp, why is it you always want to find a tree? Not always because of shade, because so often you arrive there late in the afternoon, you don't need shade, and yet there's something about a tree that attracts you. It's companionship. What are the dangers? Biggest danger is car accident. You have that anyway, whether you're alone or not. I mean, climbing up into the tent on the ladder, I'm very, very careful. If I fall and break something, my life could be threatened if I'm in a very remote area. Who's going to find me up here? Nobody. Preparation-wise, this time I spent about 6 months preparing the trip, 4 months preparing the vehicle. Found some things that needed work on the vehicle that I didn't know about. So I'm feeling that I'm feeling confident, also a little bit nervous. Just a twinge of going into the unknown. Well, after a very, very pleasant night, the utter isolation continues. Continuing north to a place called Puros, and it's going to take me about 2 hours to get there. The closer I get to Puros, the rougher the track is becoming. So much so that it's becoming a multiple lane highway as travellers try to find the smoothest course. Well, this is Puros, such as it is. I was under the impression that the Kaokoveld had a good dose of rain and that it was green. This is even more barren and desolate than I remember. What do they do here, apart from look after the occasional traveller such as myself? This is the bed of the Hoarabib River, running through the town, hardly a town of Puros. When I first came here in 2002, in this crossing, and I assume it's the same one because this is the only one marked on the map, there was the wreck of a Russian light four-wheel drive truck, and it was half buried in the sand, and the story was that it had been caught in a flood, or somebody had tried to drive across when the river was flowing, and it was the vehicle was taken. Things look quite different, so I assume it's lying underneath, buried underneath the sand, never to be seen again.